So this guy you see here, this is Mohammed Ghalibaf. He is the parliamentary speaker in Iran. And I-24 News and a lot of people are speculating that this is the guy President Trump and the US is talking to right now. And they want to use him to carry out regime change. And he has shown to Trump that he's capable. He is very popular in the country. He is widely accepted as a disciplinary person. But there are so many, a lot of things, speculations people are putting out already. But according to possible, verifiable reports so far, he is the most closest person to the Western authorities like the US and other countries. Now listen to the breakdown of why he's being considered as the next option to lead Iran.
Mohammed Boghir Ghalibaf is suddenly at the center of speculation over Iran's future, after multiple reports said that the Trump administration is looking at him as a possible US-backed figure to help lead the country or open a path to talks. Ghalibaf has publicly denied any negotiations, but the reports have pushed one of Iran's most powerful insiders back into the spotlight. He's not an outsider or a reformer, rather a product of the Islamic Republic's security state. Ghalibaf joined the Revolutionary Guard during the Iran-Iraq War and rose through its ranks to command the IRGC Air Force, building his reputation inside Iran's military establishment. He was later tied to the hardline response to the 1999 student protests before becoming police chief, putting him at the heart of the state's internal security apparatus. As Tehran mayor, he tried to rebrand himself as a manager and modernizer, but his time in office was marred by corruption allegations and by his own reported role in helping suppress the 2009 Green Movement protests. After several failed presidential bids, he landed one of the top jobs in the systems as parliament speaker in 2022, blending his political ambitions with a long record inside Iran's coercive state structure. Supporters see him as a disciplined operator with deep ties across the system. But that same background is exactly what makes him so controversial. Critics tie Ghalibaf to the very machinery used to crush dissent inside Iran, pointing to his role in the security establishment and past crackdowns on protests. So while some in Washington may see him as a pragmatic option, for many Iranians, he is deeply linked to the state's apparatus of repression.
So for more reaction and insight, it's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Meir Javadanfar, Iran lecturer at Reichman University, joining us from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much for your time. Good to see you as always. And still so many questions around who is in charge in the Islamic Republic. Still no visible sign of the new supreme leader. So what do you make then of these reports and the speculation around a possible role for Parliament Speaker Mohammed Ghalibaf? And what kind of insights can you share about his previous roles within the regime?
Smoke and mirrors, to be honest with you. We really don't know what's going on because the Iranians are vehemently denying that there's any talks going on with the United States, that they will be meeting with the Americans, and that they don't trust the Americans as far as the Iranians are concerned. They claim that twice they were negotiating with the United States, and during these two negotiations, the United States and Israel launched a war against them. So as far as they are concerned, there's nothing to talk about. And Mr. Ghalibaf has vehemently denied that there are any talks taking place between United States and Iran, and that there will be any talks taking place between United States and Iran. Nevertheless, he has been touted as one of the senior regime people who is now got more clout because of the elimination of people like Larijani in Iran. His background is that he's a former head, among other things, of course, former head of the IRGC Air Force, former head of the Iran police, and he's a former parliamentary speaker, former mayor of Tehran, who was there were numerous reports within the Islamic Republic that he had embezzled a huge amount of properties in Tehran, which is Iran's most expensive city, for his own sake. He has very good relations with part of the IRGC, and at the same time he tried to portray himself as somebody who is who's more moderate regarding the United States. For example, in 2013, when he was running for president as a candidate, he condemned Holocaust denial by former President Ahmadinejad. So he tries to have this image of somebody who is a hardliner but a pragmatic one within the terms of the Islamic Republic. The United States cannot crown anyone as the next successor within the Islamic Republic. That depends on a lot of maneuvering within the regime. But if there are going to be talks, and if he's the head of these negotiations, then that would certainly increase his clout within the regime.
And if that does in fact happen, let's say there are talks, and if Donald Trump does call an end to the war in the coming days, let's say he feels Operation Epic Fury has achieved what he set out to do, where does this all leave the Iranian people who have been hoping and waiting for regime change? What does it look like on the ground?
If we just look at it from that dimension, the Iranian people dimension, I think there'll be many people who will be disappointed that the United States and Israel did not overthrow the Islamic Republic. I have to say that as much as this is what overwhelming majority of Iranians in the diaspora and people of Iran want, at this stage, we may reach a stage where it is not possible. As much as we want it, the United States and Israel may decide that right now it is not possible and perhaps it is important to reach a deal. But reaching such a deal would depend on a lot of factors. What happens to the Strait of Hormuz? What happens to Iran's stockpile of 440 kilograms of enriched uranium? What about Iran's missile program? At the very least, I didn't even go as far as Iran's support for proxy. These are very important issues. What would Mr. Trump do in terms of reaching an agreement with Iran over these issues? So that would also be important for us. But for the people of Iran, most Iranians, I think, would be disappointed that the Islamic Republic stays in power.
As you say, there are so many different scenarios that could play out. We wait to see how it all unfolds. For now, thank you as always, Dr. Meir Javadanfar, live from Tel Aviv. Thank you.
Thank you very much.